Hey guys, I'm out on a river. It's sunny, it's 25 degrees, and what I really should be thinking about is this.
Time to start thinking about building my own track sled.
Well, I got my donor sled into the shop, got it up on the hoist, and it's a 300 Jag. That's what it used to be, but they've done some modifications. It is only a single carb, so it probably is a 300, 2 cylinders. Yeah, so the shaft and everything looks like it's in good shape. But the benefit of this is I was given a second one as a spare, and look how low that rides already, the suspension. So it shouldn't be too much. And the sliders are in pretty good shape. Pretty stoked. A couple more weeks and I get to start building my track sled. I got some great ideas. I'm pretty stoked. So I'll build this over the summer and then I'll have it ready for the winter. And I'll do as many videos as I can, and I'll do a complete how-to. So stay tuned on YouTube for this. It'll start be coming up pretty soon. I'll try and keep them up to date as I go so that you don't have to wait right till fall to get them all. And you guys, thanks for hanging out. I'm Scott from Realistic Outdoors.
I had removed as many bolts as I could possibly find to get this engine out, so I had enough. So I just took my grinder and a nice thin 4.5 inch cutting disc, and I cut the mounting plate off, which was lovely because I was able to reuse that plate later, and I would have had to cut it anyway. So there we go. Now she's cut off, and get that thing out of there. Done.
Okay, made some good progress. Got the motor out. So we got motor, steering, exhaust, carb, hood. And today, I think what we'll do is get the tank and the seat off. And we'll call that a good success. I still have to cut this off and then cut this frame off. I'm not gonna bother taking the skis off because that'll come off when I cut that frame right there. I'll be cutting it right around here. Should be good. I'm hoping that I'll be able to put my shaft or my sprocket right here and run it straight up, or here and run it straight up, one of the two. Should be good. Looking forward to it.
Okay, now just to gently remove this light and just take my time here and just smash it. There we go. Now it's off. I don't know if all tanks come off this way. This is the first Skidoo I've destroyed, but it has two metal bent flaps that it was just slid into. There was no screws or bolts or anything holding it in place. So if you lifted the seat, you could literally slide this tank off. However, it had been there since, I guess 50 years. So it needed some persuasion. So I got out my persuasion bar and off it came.
Okay guys, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to actually start working on this. I've got it mostly stripped down. This is an old 300 Artic Cat, I think from 1972. I'll have to verify the year, I'll put it down below. But I've got it mostly stripped down. So today all I want to do is take this front end off, and then if I get enough time, cut the sideboards or the footboards off. And that's all we're going to do for today, and hopefully that'll go fairly well. Everything else came off fairly easily, but that's it for today. Stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get this thing cut down and ready to go. I am by no means an expert, so what I'm doing is just guessing by golly. I've watched a few YouTube videos. I have a pretty good understanding of what needs to get done. But every machine looks a little different and is put together a little different. So before you start chopping and whacking on stuff, you really want to give it some consideration to where you're going to cut it so that it's not going to hinder you in the future. So right now it looks to me like I'm just going to want to cut these off here. I'll leave a little bit of the support, although I'm probably sure I won't need it. I'm going to take this bar off, and then I should be able to get this off. I have removed a lot of the bolts, so it should come off reasonably easily. I might want to do that first so I can get a nice clean cut. So let's start there.
Most of the bolts on this bumper came off reasonably easily with just a couple wrenches. Some gave me a pretty good run for my money, so I'd use this 4.5 inch cut-off wheel, and it's very thin. I don't know the actual thickness, but it's a very thin one. I'll either use this or I'll use a flap disc for grinding. I very rarely use a grinding disc. And now that that's off, and so that I can get a really nice straight cut with my grinding wheel, my cutoff disc, I want to just cut out a small piece of this panel so that I can get in there nicely and not lean over and make a nice square cut. Also, with this grinding disc, if you twist it even slightly when it's running, it'll snap and pieces go flying. And you hence wearing the goggles and my glasses, I have had several explode by slightly twisting, so you have to be really careful when you're using these grinding discs, the thin ones that is. But I was able to get this space with my recip saw, and I was able to get at it nice, accurate, and get a nice even cut. What a cool feeling when you finally get cut through here and the whole front piece breaks off, and you can start to see and realize as the project's coming together how much closer you're getting. It's pretty exciting at this point.
Now we use spare bolts, nuts, and washers.
Okay, now to take care of this brace that was holding the steering column. It's kind of right in the way, and there's not much I can do until I get rid of it. So there's a bit of grinding involved here with the cutoff disc, and just take my time and try and get a nice even cut without cutting into the tunnel. And it actually went pretty good. I did have to cut into a couple of the braces up front to make myself access to the upright strut a lot easier, but hey, the more you cut off, the lighter it gets, the better it gets. Isn't that right? Here's a gratuitous slow-mo sparks in your eyeball. I was just wondering if it was hitting my camera or not. And looking back at this, I'm thinking I need to get a little bit of a protective lens for my cameras. And there's these uprights that I had to cut out to get better access to cut the rest of this off that I was talking about earlier. Once they were gone, I had easy access to the bottom. And that's it. The steering column brace is now ready to come off. And there she goes. Now here's the beauty of a skidoo lift if you got one. I wanted to flip it over and have a look at the bottom and see what's all about with the belt and the cleats that are on it, because this is a pretty old sled, so it's a 3-part track that's connected with metal cleats. So that's pretty exciting. Just want to have a quick look at it. So having these metal cleats and in great shape is going to be perfect for whipping across the ice.
I don't know if he's got the suspension cranked down or if it's just always that low, but I like it right now, just the way it's at. The high fax bar. What's this? What's supposed to use? I don't know what those are. I need a bumper stopper for this. Cogs look good. Let's go once around, see if the track looks good.
straight edge. Let's mark that. Like that.
While I'm busy talking to myself, I just wanted to make sure I had a nice straight line in which to cut this foot peg or foot bar off, so that it was a reasonably straight line. I didn't want any big jagged pieces that'll take your ankle off.
Off. Hopefully I'll lose enough strength there. I can always put a small piece of just that piece. I'm gonna do this. I can always add some angle if I need to add some rigidity. We'll see how it fares. This kind of soft aluminum. So this might be on the table for later. Put a piece right there. Screw it in.
One thing you want to make note of before you cut and cut too deep is to make sure that you're not taking enough away that it's, or when you're cutting, that you're going to be cutting into your actual gearbox where the clutch is on the other side. And here I am now just making sure that where I'm cutting isn't going to cut into the clutch gearbox at all. Definitely want to make sure of that. Okay, now using my thinnest cutoff wheel again, I take my time. I find the technique of just dragging back a little bit and making a score mark, and then following the score mark really helps achieve a nice straight line. I use this cutting disc a lot, and I'm able to maintain a really nice straight line. But drawing the line out in the start really made a big difference. You gotta have a guide. So there's the gearbox I wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting into. And now for a really glorious part, scraping off the 50-year-old glue and dirt and trying to clean this puppy up, so when I am ready for paint it'll be nice and clean. I was using grease remover here, wax and grease remover, which seemed to work pretty good, but some of that green stuff didn't come up. I had to scrape it all. And really for the final part of this teardown was to grind off the last little bit of that stanchion that held the steering rod in place, get it down nice and smooth so that it's right flush with the tunnel, so that when I do a paint or do anything, you can think about this if you want to leave some of the steel there in case you're gonna weld something onto it. Like if you want to have a holder for your auger or something, you might want to think about that in advance, but I wanted that to be a clean, smooth curve. And that's it. The teardown's complete. Now I can get ready for setting up to build it all out.